The elephant Gambit, majestic and powerful, an animal so wise. But honestly, the opening is just a dirty sack of tricks that may well have been named after a raccoon, or some other filthy creature. Because e4 e5, knight f3 and the trickery begins with d5, giving away a pawn. Takes, and the most common trap after bishop c4, is queen g5 threatening g2. Knight takes, forking the queen and the rook. But after queen takes, rook f1 and bishop g4. White will find himself a queen down after a few moves. It's a trap-infested and fun opening to play, but do not try it against me. The rat defense. d4 d6, and after c4, e6 is the rat defense. A sneaky opening where black lurks in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Against a weaker opponent, it can be as early as move 2. Where instead of e6, they go straight for e5, striking at white's center. This series of captures is not scary for black. Because after king takes, and normal moves like knight f3 and f6, believe it or not, the engine says black is slightly better. Because despite losing castling rights, how on earth is white going to get to this king? That's why most white players go for knight c3 here. And now, the rat comes out to play. Pawn takes, queen takes, and we are now following a game between two 2300 lead chess players. And as early as move 8, white is dead lost. How are you going to save this rook? White tries e4, takes, and after bishop takes, threatening this other rook as well. A trip to the therapist was long overdue. The bird opening, which surprisingly, was named after a human being. Even though they say he was an animal in bed, it's called the bird opening because of his rather cute family name. Henry loved the aggressive attacks in the Dutch defense so much. He thought, why not play this as white? And lo and behold, that gave birth to a chess course Lawrence Trent is still trying to sell to this day. Several years and failed hair transplant surgeries later. It is a legit opening though, which would take a whole video to get into. Let me know down below if you'd be interested in going deep into the bird, or any other animal you see on this list today. The crab opening. No need to explain why it's called the crab, and no need to explain why it's dog excrement, but judging from the IQ levels here at Mortal Chess, I will explain anyway. We have a4 and h4, the pincers, which scary as they look, surrender the center to black and break almost all the cardinal rules of chess. But playing this opening, against an arrogant, trash-talking opponent, and then winning, is a level of joy that makes me change my mind on this one. Legit. The Snake Benoni. Pawn, knight, pawn, knight, and pawn, is the Benoni defense, where the plan is to put this bishop on g7, and use this diagonal alongside a pawn advance to attack white's queen side. In this position however, black can go for the Snake Benoni, where instead of bishop g7, the bishop does this slithering maneuver, and exerts pressure on white from this angle. A cool name, for a cool maneuver. But why is the Benoni nicknamed the Son of Sorrow? The answer might surprise you. The cow opening. Emerging straight out of a rat defense, the cow opening is a setup in which, regardless of what your opponent plays, you temporarily place your knights at the center, and then move them to the b and g files, because here is where your bishops belong. The plan here, according to the gorgeous inventor of the opening, is to wait for your opponent to make mistakes and then capitalize on them. That's an instant dog excrement stamp for that alone. But since I have a huge crush and loose morals. Legit. The Dragon Sicilian. The most confrontational and most aggressive opening on our list today. e4 and c5 is the Sicilian defense. The next few moves lead us to the open Sicilian, because of the semi-open c and d files. But in this position, g6 is the Dragon Sicilian. In this opening, white will castle queenside, and black castles kingside, then both sides will blindly throw their pawns at each other's kings. Safe to say, a peaceful draw is not on the cards here. One side has to go down. So if kill, or be killed, is your style of chess, here is a more detailed video on the fiery Dragon Sicilian. The Hedgehog Defense. On the same topic of the Sicilian defense, we have the Hedgehog Defense. That's because many players with white are afraid of the violently aggressive attacks in the Dragon Sicilian. After entering the open Sicilian, they play c4, known as the Monkeyy bind. It's called a bind because black cannot break free with d5, e5 or f5, and is stuck cramped in 3 ranks. But that's where the hedgehog formation comes into play. A setup in which black agrees to keep to these 3 ranks, but creates a thorny impenetrable layer on the 5th rank across which white cannot advance. Every pawn is protected by at least 2 pieces, and so is every piece. Black dares white to do something. It's a legit, High-level opening that requires finesse and mastery of cramped positions. So can any of us here at Mortal Chess pull it off? No. The Monkeyy Bum, which believe you me, is an actual real chess opening. You can relax. I'm not taking a branch into wildlife only friends content to boost my views. So please like the video, my rent is due. A fun trap in this opening is triggered after knight f6, followed by a nasty move by white, which wins a piece on the spot. Let me know down below if you can find it. The Black Lion. Here we have, literally, the most underrated chess opening ever. The Philidor Defense. Because after e4 e5, knight f3 and d6, the Philidor Defense. The most common reply by white, is bishop c4, after which, the minefield of tricks and traps, is not like any I've seen before, and I believe, the best Philidor Defense video on YouTube right now, is right here at Mortal Chess. The Black Lion Defense however, is when instead of bishop c4, your opponent plays d4, and you decide to go for a stubborn attack on his king. The move here is knight d7 protecting e5, and after bishop c4, a normal Italian move, we create a home for the queen on c7. After castles and bishop e7, black is slowly starting to aim his pieces at white's king side, but the attack will only become apparent after the key move knight f8, and bishop g5. The idea is to use this rook, these minor pieces, and this pawn storm, to ruthlessly run white's king side over. And finally, we arrive at the Hippopotamus Defense. My personal favorite, and the only way for some of us here to make 10 chess moves, without losing a piece. You know yourself. This is a safe opening to play in front of your girlfriend. The plan is relatively simple. You lock the center, attack on the flank, and depending on how your opponent plays, you choose a safe side to castle on. Here is a must-watch game by the uniquely talented Grandmaster, Erik Hansen, who would have been up there with Magnus Carlsen himself, if not for a strange mental condition in which, to focus, he needs loud music, and a blonde cheerleader. 1b3, is a savage first move, and yes, you can play the hippo with the white pieces as well. All you have to do, is play these 10 moves in any order you see fit. And in this position, Erik Hansen plays g4, kick-starting the king side attack. The next few moves bring us to this position. Black's king is stuck in the corner, the h-file is open, and after castles, white will add another heavy piece to the attack. The hippo is a deadly chess opening. But after bishop g4, Erik Hansen resorts to his sharp GM tactical awareness. Bishop takes d5 check, and after bishop retreats, an insane move by Erik Hansen. Queen g4. Disgusting. Black fails to see the idea, captures white's bishop and loses his queen. A 1000 rated player, queen down against a grandmaster. What are his chances of winning this game?
Day 1, journey to World Chess Champion.
You go king, and I want 1 million likes on this video. But the next few moves, are more in line with how this world actually works. And before you go on to unleash the hippo onto your opponents, watch this video for a deeper dive into the opening and for all the tools you need to your opponents.